My name is Ashley Vines. This is Communications 201. It's April 30th, 2018, and this is my final speech titled, This I Believe. The word belief, as defined by the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, says that a belief is a state or habit of mind in which trust or confidence is placed in some person or thing. 8 years ago, if you had asked me what I believe in, I may have said something silly like love or happiness. I was a young and dumb 20-year-old that felt like I had the world in my hands. I was in school, engaged to who I thought was the man of my dreams, and had everything planned out, or so I thought. But today I stand here 8 years older and wiser and tell you that I believe in failure. You must fail to succeed, and like the common saying goes, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Success comes from failure. To me, failure doesn't mean that you give up and never try again. Failure means that you learn where you made your mistake and make the appropriate changes to succeed the next time. Let me give you some personal examples of this, and some from some very famous, successful people. I'm going to start with the deep stuff. And when I was writing this speech, I really wanted to leave this part out. But I couldn't because it highlights one of my biggest failures that has grown me into the person I am today. I grew up in a not-so-loving home. On the outside of it was pretty and looked like we had it all, but underneath, not so much. When I was 20 years old, I met the man of my dreams, or so I thought. I finally had what I thought I believed in, love. I got married, quit school, followed him to Texas, and took a full-time job as a CNA, a far cry from my ideal job as a nurse. 9 months later, I left him in the middle of the night because I couldn't and wouldn't deal with his abusive ways any longer. I had failed. I had made the choices that led me to this point. But this also began the regrowth of who I am today and showed me what I was capable of overcoming. This was a failure of mine, but it did not kill me, even though I thought it might. My personal failures and overcoming those ultimately led me to some failures in school. I have been enrolled in 5 universities and community colleges. That's crazy, I know. I initially wanted to be a nurse and had no backup plan. It was nursing or nothing. After I moved back from Texas, I was set to get back into school and become a nurse. That didn't go as planned either. I didn't get accepted into 2 different nursing schools. I was probably at my lowest of lows at this point. All my plans had failed, and I quit school again. I then had a friend recommend that I go to a community college and get an EMT basic certification. I thought, what the heck? I know no idea what they do in the back of the ambulance, but I'll give it a try. I fell in love. I had a new plan that felt even more fitting to me than being a nurse did. I decided I was going to go all the way to be a paramedic, but that plan pretty much backfired on me too. I was kicked out of my initial paramedic program over one tiny question that I got wrong. Seems crazy, but it's the truth. Again, I felt like I had failed. But you know what? 2 weeks later, I enrolled in a new paramedic program and finished only 1 month after my initial paramedic program finished their class. I had to redo everything, every single test, every single ride time on the ambulance, and every single hour spent in the hospital. It was hard, and I thought it may kill me. But you know what? It didn't. That experience, even though it sucked, led to more experiences with patients, more experience in the ER, and ultimately benefited me and allowed me to succeed. So now we are up to 4 years ago when I became a paramedic. I'm feeling pretty good at this point. I've achieved what I set out to do. I'm a paramedic, finally. This is where the story eventually has an upswing. Even with that paramedic certification, all of my failures had led me with a low confidence to be a paramedic. You'll learn that confidence is crucial. My mom always told me that you need to fake it till you make it, and that's exactly what I did. I can remember my very first time driving the ambulance emergency traffic with a serious patient. The whole way, I was so nervous and had such high anxiety that tears were welling up in my eyes, and I kept telling myself, Ashley, you're doing a really good job. You're doing a good job. Or with my first really injured child, I wasn't yet a lead medic on a truck, I kept it together during the call, even though my hands shook so bad that there was no way I could get the IV. I called my mom after that call and cried my eyes out and told her that there was no way I would ever have the control and calmness that that lead paramedic had had. But here I am. I've absolutely not finished growing into the paramedic that I will become. But all of those failures have led to this. Last year, I had my first cardiac arrest save. And when I say save, I mean he is alive and well, living at home with no deficits. That is a success. I have kept my cool during the most dreaded call a paramedic can have, an infant cardiac arrest. There is no way I could have done that 4 years prior. That is also a success. And I am yet again enrolled into a university, working on achieving my bachelor's degree in something that I'm actually passionate about, pre-hospital medicine. Another success. And as of this month, I am engaged to the actual type of man that I always dreamed about for myself. Another success. All of this about myself is not to toot my own horn. It is to show you that through your many failures can come great success. But you cannot give up. Quitting is not an option. If you want more for yourself and for your life, then work hard and you can achieve it. Steve Jobs once said in his biography, titled Steve Jobs, that the greatest artists like Dylan, Picasso, and Newton risked failure. If we want to be great, we've got to risk it too. Many famous success stories come from failure. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Oprah Winfrey was demoted from her job as a news anchor because she wasn't fit for TV. Albert Einstein wasn't able to read until he was 4 years old, and his teachers said he'd never amount to much. And Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. In Michael Jordan's biography titled, "I Can't Accept Not Trying," he said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to make the winning goal, and I failed over and over again, and that is why I succeed." Examples like Steve Jobs, Michael Jordan, and Walt Disney prove that great success comes from great failure. When I feel like quitting, I think about what I want to achieve. I think about what I've gone through to get to this point, and I look to more successful people than me to see that anything is possible. So I believe in failure, and I want to encourage you to believe in it too. Next time you're faced with something you failed at, learn from it and try again. Never give up. Your dreams are never too big. And remember, even when it feels like you'll never succeed at your goals, what doesn't kill you only can make you stronger. Thank you.